to demonize, to degrade, to degenerate our national institutions the way CORD is doing. It is unhelpful to continuously try to put doubts in the legitimacy of a properly, fairly and freely elected government that is accepted by the majority of the Kenyan people. But to conclude, I think that the Kenyan people are more mature. The Kenyan people can read the minds of the Kenyan politicians and some of the most ridiculous and outrageous things they say. They listen to them, they laugh at it, and they move on. For example, the example in which one of the key leaders in our country, a former foreign minister and now a leader of the opposition, saying there was an assassination attempt against himself, when in fact our police force and everybody shows that in fact
that is not something you want to mention.
There was nothing of that to be proven by even the police force itself.
Really, let us
perhaps your final remarks.
Yes, my final remarks, of course, to the Kenyan people is that we need to fight for good governance everywhere we are. The problem we have in Kenya, as we do across Africa, is the issue of ethnicity, corruption, bad governance. We fear it is creeping into this government very early. Wherever Kenyans are from in this country, we should always fight that we have an all-inclusive governance structure. We are properly governed without corruption and, of course, cronyism and those favors. The other thing is that I want to request the Kenyan people to work, much more harder. We have difficulties in the government. I mean, there are problems of cash flow and those are the issues. But what will save Kenya as a country is our ability as a people to forge ahead with focus, ensuring always that we develop ourselves and the nation. Lastly, I wanted to tell Kenyans that the reform process is not, a one-off process. It's not an instant coffee kind of a process. It is a progressive process. Let us not sit back as Kenyans and really imagine that we have the Electoral Commission, we have the judiciary, they are reformed. Far from the truth. Even the judiciary, my brother is saying, is reformed, is undergoing vetting. I mean, the judges and magistrates are undergoing vetting. And just before we went on recess, you remember in a great rush, we extended the vetting process so that we can continue cleansing it. The police is undergoing vetting, and you see the skunks. I mean, the vetting processes are nothing. So I want to request the Kenyan people that let us focus our reform eyes and mind on the institutions which are most critical for our governance. That is the IEBC, the security apparatus, all important state, financial institutions, and the judiciary. Most importantly, I wanted to request, the president of the country, as now the president of everybody, to remember that really is now the president of the entire country. We want the nation to move forward with no part of the country feeling, unequal or less equal than others. That way we will have a solid country to be proud of.
Many thanks. Well, I'm taking a final comment there.
Well, these are politicians, and politicians are known to utter some very outrageous things like winking. That you see a man winking another and you make comments about it.
The hidden meaning.
And there are meanings about those things. But living as a journalist in this country now, having watched many politicians from when I became a journalist in 1980, I've seen them come and go. And we expect what those utterances. And we move on. We live with them, and I'm hoping that my friend here will show me in private that document that he says proves that elections were stolen.
Right. We come tomorrow.
We'll talk about that. Many thanks indeed, talking to honourable members of the National Assembly. Thank you so much, Kamukunji, Member of Parliament, and Homabay Town, Member of Parliament. We'll be right back. Don't go away.